Shalom. Shalom. And in this lesson today, we're going to deal with a certain topic that that's controversial among Israel today. We were supposed to go through the book of Revelation, the 22nd chapter, and other scriptures dealing with the tree of life, good and evil, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which the brother had sent me a message to our lexicon of GMS. We told him we would go over it, which we still will go over it. We have all the scriptures and stuff on the topic, but this topic is something that really needed to be addressed, and I know that brothers really haven't touched on it, so we wanted to tackle this this issue or this topic, because you got some clowns out there that's false prophets that's trying to bring confusion. And we only do this, these type of shows, and any show that we do or lesson that we do for the sake of the elect. For brothers out there that's listening and watching, that's part of the elect. But the topic of today is called mixed seeds. With a question mark on it. No such thing. There ain't no such thing as no mixed seed. You are what your father is. All right? Because you got these assholes that say that that all the 12 tribes are all black tribes, which is bullshit. All right, the 12 tribes are broken down through the spirit by Elder Ariah, which he's going off now on certain things, but the Lord gave him the breakdown of the 12 tribes. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started. We're gonna give you their side of the story, of why they come up with the madness that they come up with. And then we're going to go back and we're going to break down those same scriptures that they try to go into and give you the right breakdown. All right. And this another asshole, General Gehenna, out there, he's talking about some half-breeds. GMS got nothing but a bunch of half-breeds. And that nigga know there ain't no such thing as no half-breeds. That was never taught at the main school. And there's no such thing as no half-breed. You are what your father is.
That's right.
Just like if you have a seed and you plant it, no matter where you plant it in the world, it's still going to bear forth those fruit, no matter what those fruits look like. It's whatever the seed is, that's what that tree is going to bear. Same thing with man. Whatever your father is, that's what you are. Doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah. And so really, who loves the so-called white man? That's Esau's bullshit, man.
Exactly.
All that, like that brother was talking about earlier, that's Esau's bullshit. Mixed seed, mulatto,
yeah,
and this and that. That's the so-called white man came up with all that bullshit.
Those are all his terms.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is go to Ezra, the 9th chapter, in the 1st and 2nd verse, because we want to give you, because we don't want them to say when they watch this video, they never address the issue that we're going to address their issues, show you what they teach, and then we're going to go back and we're going to break it down the right way, the way the white man don't want you to get it broken down, and the way these clowns don't want you to get it broken down. But go ahead, brother.
That's right. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 9, and starting at verse 1. It says, "Now when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, and the Ammonites, the Moabites, and the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves, and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass."
So what they saying, this is what they're saying. It says, because it says there that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. So they're saying that you had men of Israel that had women of the other nations, and they popped those women and dropped seed in them, and the babies that came out were mingled seeds. That's what they're saying. All right, now let's go from there, because like I said, we got to address both sides. Now go from there to the book of Ezra, the 10th chapter, the 1st to the 3rd verse. You know, we're going to give you their side of the story, and then we're going to give you the truth. All right?
Come. Ezra chapter 10 verse 1. Now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of the Most High, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children. For the people wept very sore.
Okay.
And Zechariah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed, pardon me, we have trespassed against our power and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing.
Okay.
Now therefore let us make a covenant with our power to put away all the wives and such as are born of them according to the counsel of my Lord, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our power, and let it be done according to the law.
So now if you read that and you don't have any understanding, which they don't, but for the sake of giving you their side of the story, they're saying that those men that of Israel that laid down with these women of the other nations, whatever sons they had of them, what they did was once they had the sons, being that they were mixed, they put the women out and they put the children out. That's bullshit. All right. Now we're going to read one more scripture that they bring out in the book of Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, and the 2nd verse. Which I'm only bringing this scripture out because they always calling us these names in the Hebrew, you know, concerning this particular issue, and that's the only reason why I'm bringing it out. Because when you read the book of Nehemiah and the book of Ezra, this particular word does not appear in any of those scriptures.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't. But I'm just doing it because of the fact that that's what they put out. Yeah. So we're gonna give you their side of the story, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna break it down the right way. Now, Deuteronomy 23 and 2.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Right, so it says a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to the 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. So this is why they're trying to use this particular scripture along with the scriptures in Ezra 9 and 10 to say that if you have a mother of another nation, that you cannot be a part of the congregation of the Lord, which is total madness. But you know, just to let them run with their bullshit, let's just deal with that. So what we want to do is we want to go to this word bastard in Deuteronomy the 23rd chapter, because that's what they call us. They say mamzar or mamzer. They say mamzer is mamzar, which means bastard. Now let's go to the Blue Letter Bible. Let's look up the definition of this word, and let's take it from there. So we'll be right back. All right, so as you can see here, this is Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, and I have Elder Manatazak read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Right, so this is the scripture that they try to use to justify their bullshit. You know, like I said, this word bastard, which you have the word here, it says mamzer here, but it's mamzar. This does not appear in the book of Ezra or Nehemiah anywhere. Now, this is the definition of the word mamzer. Go ahead, brother.
It says, bastard, child of incest, illegitimate child. A, bastard. B, mixed population. C, born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother, or vice versa.
Which this is total bullshit. All right? It's born, really what this scripture is born of a Israelite mother and a heathen father.
Right.
That's what this scripture really means in the book of Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, the 2nd verse. So now we're going to go back. We're going to go through the scriptures that we read before, and we're going to break it down to you the correct. All right. So now that we got their side of the story, all right, now we're going to go back to the book of Ezra, the 9th chapter, and the 1st verse, and we're going to break it down to you the proper way. All right? So go ahead, open it up to read that.
Okay, cut. Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands.
It said that they have the Israelites have not separated from the people of the land. That's a very key point there. Read on.
From the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations.
That's the reason why there was a big issue, because they did not separate themselves from the people of the land, doing according to their abominations. Not because, and the thing was that they married those women. In other words, they went through the ceremony that you would between an Israelite man and an Israelite woman. They went through those ceremonies. So they clave to these women in love like Solomon did. And what happened when they clave to them in love, what they did was they started doing according to the customs and abominations of those nations. And that's why the Lord was angry. And that's why Ezra was angry. Not because they had sex with those women, because you can have concubines. The reason why they did that was because they started mingling themselves among the nations, and when they were among those nations, they started doing according to their abominations. All right, so read on, brother.
Yep. It says, the people have not separated themselves from the people of the land, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites.
Yeah.
For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons.
Right, so they took the daughters of themselves, for themselves, and for their sons. Go ahead.
It says, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands.
So the holy seed, which is Israel, have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Meaning that the Israelites, which are a holy people, give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. The Israelites, which are a holy people, got together with the people of those other lands and mingled themselves together. Not that the seed, not that the man put the sperm into the woman of the other nations, but that they mingled themselves together. Because the first verse makes it plain that they didn't separate themselves from the people of the other nations. And what did they do when they got with those peoples? Instead of just popping the women, they married them, did the ceremony, whatever the case was, and they started doing according to the customs of those nations.
Right.
That's where the trespass was.
And if I may add, you brothers got to remember that. Brothers, I mean, what y'all already know, the scriptures stated perfectly and clearly, but the sin is that they started following and worshiping the gods of these other nations, these women. Not that they were dealing with these women, but that they fell in love with them, right, and started following their gods. Right. Now, when you deal, like the elder Ramos said, you can deal with a woman from another nation as a concubine. Because later on, Lord willing, as we are going into the scriptures, men of the Lord and our forefathers, they dealt with women of the other line.
That's right.
Of the other nations.
The other nations is correct.
Pardon me. And at the same time,
which is of another line.
Right. And at the same time, you had kings and righteous men that were brought forth through those men that dealt with women of these other nations. And we're going to go into the scriptures and show you that, man.
Right.
So which shows you that that's all bullshit about this mingling, we being
mixed seeds
and all that stuff. That's the so-called white man's bullshit and his philosophy.
And you fucking Gehenna, you asshole, you know that there's no such thing as a mixed seed or a fucking half-breed. You have the nerve to call Elder Tahar lowlife. You're the fucking lowlife.
Yeah, you're the fucking lowlife, nigga.
You know? There's no fucking such thing as no goddamn half-breed. You dumb fuck. You know that. But you're only doing that because you're playing on the emotions of these assholes out here that are following you blindly, you asshole.
Hey, but you know what though? The scriptures do speak about the tares.
That's right.
But you better hope you ain't a tare, nigga.
Right. That's right.
Now, and these niggas, these same assholes, sit there and talk about, you niggas, half-breeds and all that.
Yeah.
They won't speak about the tares.
Right.
All right.
Because there's two sides to the coin. All right. You have Israelites that have heathen mothers, which are still Israelites, and you have people out there that look like black people, dark as hell, and their fucking fathers are white, and they're fucking heathens. They're Edomites.
That's right.
So you better hope your line don't go back to the Herod, you asshole.
That's right.
Now let's go from there. You got something? All right, read that, brother.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Okay.
The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Right, so that's Israel. What made Israel holy? The Most High gave Israel the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures, of the Bible.
That's right.
That's what made them holy. Go ahead.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. They're not supposed to have the laws that we have. That's what separated us from the other nations. The laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what made us holy. That's what the Lord said, don't mingle among them, because if you go among those people, you're going to learn of their heathenistic ways, so to speak. Now go from there to, you can read a little bit more of that on that, Deuteronomy 7.
Okay, Deuteronomy 7.
And then we're going to go from there to Leviticus, the 20th chapter. So go ahead, brother.
Deuteronomy 7 and verse 7. It said, the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people. For you were the fewest of all people.
Right, there were 70 souls that entered into Egypt with Jacob. 70 souls that entered into Egypt with Jacob. So that was very few. All right, when it goes back, if you go back even further, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were very few souls. And then the Lord made the promise that he would make them great multitudes. And the other nations were already established on the planet Earth. You know, or most of them anyway. Go ahead, brother.
Right. It says, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
That's right. All right, so let's go from there to Leviticus, the 20th chapter, and the 22nd to the 26th verse. And that's how you're going to get an understanding of what Ezra was talking about. When it said the holy seed mingled themselves, meaning that they went among the other nations and they started committing the acts that the other nations did. That's what the transgression was. Not that they popped those, just like Solomon. Solomon didn't commit a transgression because he was having sex with the women of the other nations, but he was treating them as if they were women of his own nation.
Right, and not to cut you off, but and what Solomon did, and the scriptures tell you clearly, he started making temples and everything unto their idols and their gods. That was the transgression. That's why the Most High got mad at Solomon. Not because he was dealing with him.
That's right.
Because, like, again, and Lord, we don't get this, which you brothers should know. And this thing, really, it boils down to this, man. This thing is all about common sense.
Right.
All right? It's like the Lord said, the simplicity that's in Yahweh Shai.
Simple.
It's simple. The Lord said, learn of me.
Smarten up. All
right? That's what the Lord said. He said, that's right. You dumb niggas better smarten up. But you know what? You ain't going to smarten up. But like the Lord told Isaiah, he poured a spirit of deep sleep upon niggas like General Gehenna and all you damn fucking dumb, big, overgrown, hefty bag niggas that follow General Gehenna, and you dumb, stupid ass, blind, keyboard typing, lost in the dark niggas calling yourself Israelite that's on a comp board talking all this shit, talking about General Gehenna as if he's some man of the Lord. He's a damn devil, man.
Yeah, he's
a false prophet, and the Most High is plaguing him. That's why every time he when it comes to his
to the phone, caller, where you calling from? Is this a GMS member? Nigga ain't sleeping right at night. Elder Tahar said that you ain't sleeping right at night.
You ain't sleeping right.
Every time somebody calls you, gotta figure out of every 2 callers, 1 caller has to be a GMS brother. And every time he answered the phone, before he used to just sit there, he wasn't getting checked. He used to sit there, caller, hello caller, where you calling from? Hey, shout out to Alabama, whatever the hell it was calling from. Now it's just like, caller, where you calling from?
Yep.
Is this a GMS member?
Then you gotta get the Jack Daniels and whatever other bullshit.
Yeah, hey, you was drunk on your last show, man.
You got a drunken rant.
Yeah, you was sipping on something. I don't know what it was. You was sipping on some bullshit.
Hey, but you know what? Guess what? That your so-called radio show you got has become a GMS radio show.
That's right.
All right? But that's all the Lord, though. The Lord did that because you know why? You teaching...
Because you sold out.
You sold out, man.
You sold out.
You sold out.
You know, you sold out, and you know that the shit that you're saying now never would fly back in the main school.
That's right.
You know, that fucking bullshit about half-breeds. You're an asshole,
show a video since you was back there, you know, Yaiqua. You give reference to Yaiqua, which he is a great man of the Lord, one of the pillars of this nation.
That's right.
Show me a video where Elder Yaquab taught about mixed seeds.
No such thing.
Mixed breed.
You are what your father is.
All right.
Right now, let's get to this, because you know it's heated. You know, it's a little emotional, but you know what? It has to be done this way. You know, because you got some assholes out there that's perverting the word of the Lord.
You want 20 and 22,
20
right?
and 22 to 26. Yeah.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 22. It says, "Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them."
This is the Most High speaking to Israel. Go ahead.
"That the land whither I bring you to dwell therein spew you not out."
Because the reason why those Canaanites were taken out of those lands, besides the fact that it was prophesied by the Lord through Noah, through his son Ham, to his son Canaan, that they would be brought out of that land. All right. Now, when you go deeper into it, the things that they did in the land by worshiping these different idols was what had them get kicked out of those lands. So the Lord is reiterating back to Israel, saying, "Look, be careful that you don't do after the abominations of these nations."
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. In 23, it says, "And you shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your power, which has separated you from other people."
That's it. The Lord separated us from them other nations. So we're not supposed to mingle with them as far as getting together with them and having this holding hands across the world and following after their customs. Okay, well, you know, they agree with us that we should only that we shouldn't eat pork, but you know, we can have all these other different gods. We're not supposed to make no covenants with these other nations at all. Period. Go ahead, brother.
It says, but I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your power, which have separated you from other people. You shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean, and between unclean fowls and clean. And you shall not make your souls abominable by beasts or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean.
God.
And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy. Y'all say this, brother?
Yeah.
And the Lord is breaking it down. Listen to you why you're not supposed to be joined up with these damn heathens, man. All right?
Yep.
That's why. That's what the problem is. But as far as you having a concubine, that's the spoils of war, man.
Exactly.
And that's why the Lord that's why the Lord put laws, this is simple, but the Lord made laws of dealing with these women when you took down another nation.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing wrong with a man having a concubine. And that's what I'm talking about in the kingdom. Because back then, the kingdom didn't even come back then. They were doing that back then. And again, like I said, you're going to find out that there was other men of Israel, righteous men of Israel, okay, other kings that came out of the nation of Israel that were brought forth or conceived through women from the other nations.
And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
All right?
Go ahead, brother.
Right now it says...
Read the 26th verse again.
I'll read 26. It says, "And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine."
That's it. So that's the bottom line. The Lord severed us from these nations, so we're not supposed to mingle with them. That's why, matter of fact, get Jeremiah 10:1 and 2. This is why this is written. We're not supposed to mingle with those people because you're going to learn of their customs. If you're around a bunch of other people of other nations, eventually you're going to end up learning their customs, their ways. They're going to rub off on you. That's why you got so-called Negroes, West Indians, Puerto Ricans, and Israelites in this society that are following after what? The customs of the so-called white men here in America. Why? Because they've been here for so long that they've been accustomed to these so-called white men and the philosophies of the other nations, and they're doing after their customs. Go ahead, brother.
Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Right, so don't learn the ways of the heathens. That's what that's written. And written in many other scriptures in the Bible. All right, now let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 1. Because this goes back to Deuteronomy. This is the explanation of Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter, the 2nd verse, which thou shalt not allow a bastard to come to the congregation of the Lord. Now the word bastard in the Hebrew is mamzar, which them assholes out there call those Israelites that have mothers of other nations, and they don't understand that scripture at all, period. This is the breakdown of that scripture in Deuteronomy 23 and 2. Go ahead, brother.
Come. It's the book of Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 1. Now on the 24th day of this month, the children of Israel were assembled with fasting and with sackcloth in earth upon them. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers.
And the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers. Go ahead.
And stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers.
Now stop right there. Matter of fact, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Now let's stop right there. Now we're going to take a look at this word, because it says, and the seed of Israel. Remember it says, and back in Ezra, the 9th chapter, it says, for they have taken up their daughters for themselves and for their sons, and that so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. So it says here, and the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers. All right. Now let's go to the Blue Letter Bible and let's find out what this word stranger is. We'll be right back. All right. So what we got here is Nehemiah the 9th chapter, the 2nd verse, and I'll have our Elder Melchizedek read that.
Come. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 2 again. It says, and the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers.
So now let's look at this word strangers here in the Blue Letter Bible. But you have the word here, separated themselves from all strangers. And you have two Hebrew words here, bun and nakar. So the first one, which is bun, which you know already if you have been learning the Hebrew, is son, grandson, child. It really means son. It could be a grandson or a male child, but it really means a son. All right? And then it says here, bun, nakar. Now, nakar, when you look it up, is the word foreign, alien, foreignness, that which is foreign, foreignness, foreign gods, alien, foreigner, foreign vanities. So really, bun nakar is a son of a stranger or somebody of another nation. All right, that's what that scripture means. They separated themselves from the children of those nations. Not that they separated themselves from their own children that came out of their bowels with these women of the other nations. They separated themselves from the people or the strangers of that land.
That's right.
All right. Okay, so as you saw there, when we just read, we just showed you that the word for stranger. Matter of fact, read the 2nd verse again. Call the scripture where you at.
Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 2. And the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers.
So when it said that the seed of Israel, the holy seed, mingled themselves with the people of the nations, they followed their customs, and eventually what happened was we separated ourselves from the people of those nations. We didn't separate ourselves from our children that we had with them. So now we're going to go from there to the Apocrypha, the book of 1 Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 91, to give you the proper understanding of what happened. Who did we separate ourselves from? Did we separate ourselves because you had half-breed children back then, so that we separate ourselves from the children that us as Israelites men had with the women of the other nations? Well, let's find out exactly what took place back then in the history of the scriptures. Go ahead, brother.
Yep. It's like
First Ezra chapter 8 and it starts at verse 91. Correct.
Okay, I started 91 then. 1 Ezra chapter 8 verse 91. And as Ezra in his prayers made his confession, weeping and lying flat upon the ground before the temple, there gathered unto him from Jerusalem a very great multitude of men and women.
Right.
And children.
So I'm sorry, men and women and children, because they were very sorrowful for what was taking place, because they were worshiping the gods of the other nations, which caused it to get jacked up in the first place in the past. Go ahead.
For there was a great weeping among the multitude. Then Jeconias, the son of Jelis, one of the sons of Israel, called out and said, O Ezra, we have sinned against the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. We have married strange women of the nations of the land.
Right, we married these women, meaning that we went through the customs and we went through everything that you would between an Israelite man and an Israelite woman, which we should have just had sex with them. That's it.
Yep.
Because they were concubines. But Israel back then went further into it. Go ahead.
And now is all Israel a law. Let us make an oath to the Lord that we will put away all our wives.
Okay, we will put away, let's make an oath to the Lord that we will put away all of our wives, the heathen women, that we went, not that we went and had concubines, but that we married these women. So we're going to put these heathen women away that were married by these men. Go ahead.
Which we have taken of the heathen with their children.
Which we have taken of the heathen with their children. What does it mean with their children? Meaning with the children that they brought in to the marriage, so to speak, from other heathen men. Because the man is what carries the seed, not the woman.
That's right.
So when they put away those women of the other nations, they put away the children that those women brought into the marriage from those other heathen men. So you had Israelite men that had heathen women that had other men that had children by, and they were taking care of those goddamn heathen children. And that's where the separation came from. And that's what was put out. But the Israelites that had those different heathen mothers, they were still a part of the congregation because they were Israelites.
Right,
son, brother?
Yeah, I'm going to bring it out again in the Bible too. Almost the same thing, just to go further into it. This is the book of Ezra, the 10th chapter. I'm going to read verse 3, and then I'm going to jump down. All right?
Okay.
It says, Ezra chapter 10, verse 3. Well, I'll start at verse 1. It says, Now when Ezra had prayed, and we had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of the Most High, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children. For the people wept very sore. And Shechaniah the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, We have trespassed against our power. And again, as a footnote, one of the sons of Elam, that was an Israelite named Elam.
The word Elam from the Hebrew Ayalam means young. Not an actual Elamite,
right,
or Shemite Elamite. I'm sorry, brother.
No, that's right. Well, you know what? We got to pause at certain points for you stupid, dumbass, illiterate bastards.
For you lentus mentis cats out there.
Right, putting out all that disinformation that you're putting out, man. Because you had Israelites that was named after some of the other heathen, or had a name, because the word itself meant certain things, such as Elam just meant young.
Right.
All right. You might have brothers today that might be called Ayalam. I got one brother, Ayalam Yahweh, young Judah. That's all it means. It don't mean he's an Elamite, he's a Judah.
That's right.
You see? All right. But back then, that's what you had going on. Yep. So now, verse 2. And Shechaniah the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, We have trespassed against our power and have taken strange wives of the people of the land, yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Now therefore let us make a covenant with our power to put away all the wives and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my Lord.
Which now you understand what that means.
Exactly. And then again, this is reiterating what we just read in the Apocrypha in 1 Ezra, the 8th chapter. Right? It says, and such as are born of them, meaning that were born of them from other heathen men they had before they took them as wives. Right. All right, as the scripture just broke it down.
Yeah, because those women, they were heathens that had children by other men. They weren't virgins. All right. So the children that they brought in to the congregation, they were cast out, because no bastard shall enter into the congregation of Israel.
Exactly.
Only Israelites.
And it's that easy,
it's
man.
that simple. Matter of fact,
and can I just bring
that up?
Read the one verse just to prove it. Now this is verse 44. It says, all these had taken strange wives, and some of them had wives by whom they had children.
And some of them had wives by whom they had children. So those children that the men had, the Israelite men had children by, or those women, heathen women, that the Israelite man had children by, stayed with the Israelite man.
Right.
Because that is his seed. Now, let's go from there to Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, in the Apocrypha, or like Mashar would say, in the Apocryphy.
And how many Jakes, you got a lot of, because Jakes deal with white women.
Yeah.
Right? But then, you might have Jakes that deal with these white women. They might have had kids from a damn cracker or whatever. And then the Jakes sit there and deal with it and take care of it as if it's his own.
Yep.
That's what,
and they'll diligently look at that bastard.
In which that is a bastard. That's
right.
Being used in the right term, man. Not no damn mixed kid because you got a mother of a different nation. It don't matter what. And how many times? And that's been taught going back to the old school anyway. It don't matter what nation your mother. It matters who your father is. Why you think the question was, well, who is your father?
Exactly.
Back when
it was never who was your mother.
Yeah, it was never who was your mother. That's a thing of, again, going back to the so-called white men. You got the so-called Jews that do that. They kind of try to reckon their genealogy.
By matrilineally, meaning through their mother.
Through their mother. Which a woman, and Lord willing, will hit that too, which is common sense. A woman doesn't have seed.
That's right.
She conceives the seed.
That's right.
All right, the seed comes from men.
And then Rebecca did not have her own seed.
Right.
The seed that she was going to have was the seed that she conceived from her husband. You jackass.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 1. I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, in the offspring of him that was first made of the earth.
And the offspring of him, not him and her. Because wait a minute, did not Adam have Eve? Did not he have children with Eve? Why didn't he say and the offspring of him and her?
Was it about her?
It was the offspring of him. Man, I got to read that again for you, mentis lentis or lentis mentis. I said it backwards. I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth.
Quick brother.
Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 22, verse 16. I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches.
And this is written in the red letter, in the red letter edition.
That's right.
It's in red. This is Yahushua speaking. Go ahead.
I am the root and the offspring of David.
No, I gotta say Mary, brother.
It said the offspring of David.
What about the woman, though?
The offspring of David.
Come on, man. The offspring of David. This is Yahushua speaking himself. He said he's the offspring, the root, and the offspring of David. A man.
Because the seed came from the man.
That's right. Go. Please finish that in Wisdom of Solomon.
Okay, come.
Verse 2. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 2.
Come. Right, it said, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7 verse 2. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man.
Of the seed of man. Did not Solomon have a mother? Was not Solomon's mother Bathsheba? Was not Solomon's father David? Why did it not say that he was compacted in blood of the seed of man and woman?
Because a woman don't got no goddamn seed, man.
Jackass, a woman has an ovum. Ovum is Latin for egg. Egg is what a sperm swims to, and when the sperm reaches that egg, what it does, it fertilizes the egg, and the egg feeds the sperm because the sperm is the baby.
Right.
Dummy.
Right, because even in the law, which Lord willing we could get it or we can add it in, when the scriptures speak about in Leviticus about a man spilling the seed of copulation, it tells you that he should be clean until evening. He take a shower, he be clean until evening. It never mentioned nothing about if a woman spills her seed of population.
The woman don't spill her seed. A man is the one that has those so-called wet dreams.
Right.
You know? And when they have a so-called wet dream, that means the sperm leaves out of his rod.
Right.
You know? Because he might be having a dream about a woman he's popping in.
Women don't have sperm.
Exactly.
You fucking... That's how... And you know what? That proves one thing. It's, the Lord said he was going to give certain guys over to a reprobate mind.
That's right.
If you sitting there walking around thinking that a woman has a seed, you have a reprobate mind.
That's right.
You got little children, you got people in the world, all right, which they're not on no level, but they know that the woman has an egg and she doesn't have a seed. They know that a man has an egg. A man has a seed.
That's why a woman, every month, she goes through a what? A menstrual cycle. What is that menstrual cycle? That blood that's coming out of her is purifying her, because that egg that was in her is leaving her body, and that blood is purifying and getting rid of all that junk out of her. And the new is making room for another new egg to be put into her womb.
Right. The nourisher.
Right. That's all it is.
Nourish the seed. And see, and again, you guys are a bunch of reprobates. If you really think that a woman has a seed, you're a bunch of goddamn reprobates, man. All right?
Right, and then, matter of fact, you know what? That's it on that. Go to the book of Numbers, the 1st chapter, and the 18th verse. There was another point that I wanted to make, but you know what? Right now, it's escaping me. But, you know, if the Lord wants it to come back out, it'll come back out. But let's read this scripture.
Okay, what verse again?
Oh, excuse me. Now, this is the point right here. Now, you had this clown call himself former GMS Free now. Now, this nigga has been out there supposedly for the last, year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Yeah,
he's one of the main guys, one of the driving forces of Satan that's pushing that nonsense. Now, if he was supposedly a former GMS member, do you not think by now this nigga would have showed his face and showed who he was and went into facts? He ain't going into no facts. He ain't showing himself who he is because he's a bullshit artist. Alright?
Exactly.
He's a bullshit artist.
And he's a faggot too.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. If you're talking about mingled seed, you know what that's talking about, man? Really? That's some homosexual shit, man.
That's two men's sperms mingling with each other. You dumb fuck.
Alright? That's not in the scriptures, man. When the scriptures speak about you're not supposed to have diverse kinds or whatever, mixing, that's dealing with sowing,
right,
as far as like planting crops, fruit and vegetables.
That's right.
With your cattle.
Yep.
You're not supposed to mix your cattle, right?
Right. Like, in other words, you're not supposed to have take a bull,
right,
and mate it with a horse.
You're not supposed to do that. All right. It's clothes. You're not. If you're making a garment, you're not supposed to make it half cotton, half wool, half. No, that's what it's talking about.
That's right. That's right.
It's not talking about man laying down with another woman, because a woman does not have a seed, so you're not mingling your seed with a woman, because a woman doesn't have a seed. You fucking assholes.
That's right. And then when you have like an apple seed and an orange seed, you're not supposed to make them plant them near each other because they would mingle with each other.
Right.
And then you have an apple orange, like
the so-called white man.
Right. They splicing seeds. You ain't supposed to have that.
Yep.
You know?
That's right.
So now, brother, go from there to Numbers 118 and read that.
Right.
And then we're going to continue on. We got a couple more scriptures, a few other points we're going to try to hit to get through this topic, you know, because this is something that's been long overdue. Go ahead, brother. Numbers 118.
Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees.
They declared their pedigree, meaning that they declared their line, their lineage. Go ahead.
It said they declared their pedigrees after their families.
After their families. Go ahead.
By the house.
By the house.
Of their fathers.
What about the mother?
Of their fathers.
They declared their pedigree by the house of their fathers. When you read in the scriptures, the only lineages that are there are masculine lineages. The only time you're going to find a female lineage is in the motherfucking Kibra Negast. Alright? A false fairy tale book that was written by an Illuminati member, a cracker at that. Alright? So you ain't going to find no matrilineal genealogies in the Bible. You're only going to find patrilineal, which are father lineages. And we got to read that again, brother, please.
Come.
One more again.
Yep, one more again. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their fathers. All right? So that's your lineage. Your lineage goes to your father's line. That's why when you go back to the book of Matthew, the first chapter, whose lineage was that? Yahweh's lineage. Through who? Through his father Joseph.
Yep.
And then when you go back to Luke, the third chapter, that was Mary's lineage. Through who? Through her father Eli. And the rest of the men that came of that line. They didn't mention nothing about no damn women. Alright?
Hell, when you go in the Ezra, when they start going to the captives that came from Babylon, they all went through their father's line. Alright? And then when they was waiting for the priest with the Thummim or the Urim, they checked for what? Who your father was. And it's common sense. And even really to this day is kind of like that. Alright? Pretty much when everything, you get your name according to what your father's name was. If a woman gets so-called married, she gets what? The name of the man. Alright? But now if a man has a man-child, the man-child has what? His father's name. Because that's his seed.
That's right.
Alright? But every so often you might have a situation where they might keep their mother's name. But guess what?
The reason why they're doing that is because of this fucking devil.
Exactly. Because in the scriptures you had one Jake that kept the woman's name. But guess what? The woman's name is not even the woman's name. That was still her father's name.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
They always go back to the man because why? That's where the seed comes from.
And that's what they're trying to push that today. You know, the so-called, the woman today, they when they get married to a husband, now they want to keep their last name from their father and her husband's last name. You know, which is all total bullshit. We'll show you this is a faggot society.
That's bullshit.
Now let's go from there to the book of Nehemiah 9 and 2. Nehemiah 9 verse 2 and 3. And let's continue on with this topic. And we got a couple more scriptures here. You know, we're going to check out another word in the rule of the Bible. A few. So go ahead, brother.
Good. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 2. It says, and the seed of Israel separated themselves from all strangers, and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers.
Now you understand what that means. They was talking about the actual strangers, not the children that they had with these women. Go ahead.
And they stood up in their place and read in the book of the Lord of their power, of the Lord their power, 1/4 part of the day, and another 4th part they confessed and worshiped the Lord their power.
So now I said that they read out of the book of the Lord. All right. So now we're going to go to the book of the Lord, which is the Bible, and we're going to find some scriptures in here, and we're going to find out where they were going and what they were reading. Now the first obvious one we're going to read is Deuteronomy 7, chapters 1 through 3, because they were reading in the law. Now these are things that are contained in the law. So we're going to read that. So go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, start the first verse, and we're going to read down to the 3rd verse, and we're going to hit a particular key word in that verse. Go ahead, brother.
Good. It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou, and when the Lord thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
They were just supposed to be wiped out, period.
That's right. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Meaning you're not supposed to take a woman from that nation and make her your primary wife. You know, in other words, take her to you and you go through the customs. This is my wife.
Give the father the dowry.
You're supposed to have, exactly, give the father the dowry and go through the whole custom and the feast ceremonies and all that took place with the marriage. What you were supposed to do, if you did have a woman of that nation, was she was just as a concubine, a sex toy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
It says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you.
And that's why you weren't supposed to do that. That's why Solomon went off, because he clave to those heathen women in love. In other words, he married them, and he built houses and temples to their gods. So now let's take a look at this word marriage in the book of Deuteronomy 7 and 3 in the Blue Letter Bible, and let's see what it says there. All right, so as you can see here, this is Deuteronomy 7 and 3. We're going to read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy sons.
So now let's look up this word marriages in the Hebrew under right here. Neither shalt thou make marriages. Now the word there is kathun. Kathun, right? Kathun. And now what does it mean?
To become a son-in-law, make oneself a daughter's husband. Wife's father, wife's mother, father-in-law, mother-in-law. It says, Hithapel, to make oneself a daughter's husband.
So in other words, that union was what? That marriage ceremony that made the woman the man's wife. So that marriage means that they actually join themselves with the women of these nations by actually going through these ceremonies and making their fathers or their mothers father-in-laws or daughter-in-laws or mother-in-laws or so on and so forth. So the Lord said that was not supposed to be done.
Right.
But it doesn't say nothing about no concubine or a sex toy or object. And we're going to go back and we're going to read some more laws, because they were reading the law, right?
They were reading the law.
So we're going to go back and read some more laws that they were reading. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, because they were reading in the book of the law in Ezra, right? When they separated themselves from the heathens, right? So go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, and start at the 10th verse to the 15th verse. And we're going to read more laws that they wrote about in the scriptures. All right, so when you get that, brother, you could read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 10. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make the answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee.
Because they're going to be servants. Go ahead.
And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. And when the Lord thy power hath delivered it unto thy hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword.
Every male with the edge of the sword, go ahead.
But the woman...
you can't have no women of the other nations.
But the woman and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which the Lord thy power hath given thee.
Go ahead.
Thus shalt thou do unto all the cities which are very far off from thee, which are not of the cities of these nations.
So basically, when you went to war to these nations, if they made a peace treaty with you, you would make a peace treaty with you. If they made a peace treaty with you, you would make a peace treaty with them, such as the case of the Gibeonites, which are Hamites that were supposed to be destroyed, but they came with guile to Joshua. So they made them what? Tributary. So you would make them tributary, but you would take. But if they didn't want to make peace with you, you would kill all the males and take their women. Yep. What you were going to do with the women? Play patty cakes?
That's where you get the term booty from, man.
Spoils of war.
You know, Elder Tall always brought that up, man.
That's right.
Booty is a spoil of war.
That's right.
Just like with pirates. If you take over one ship, whatever's on that ship belongs to you. It's yours. Just like we're dealing with the other nations. Now, we're taking over the nations, but it's starting spiritually.
That's right.
All right, and we bringing this out for edification. All right, if a brother does deal with a woman, you can't sit there and say he ain't right or he got the mark of the beast like that fucking dumb, retarded ass asshole General Gehenna says,
Yep.
there's no law against it. You can deal, but now if the brother starts dealing with it as if he's her wife and following her customs, then that's when it's going on.
And you know what? And we heard through the grapevine that there's a high-ranking member in General Gehenna's organization that dealt with another man's wife in the congregation, which is adultery. But the other man's wife was a heathen woman. And you know, you brothers out there, man, that know this information, man. You know, I mean, it's beautiful you bring it to us. You know, that's beautiful. But you know, you brothers out there that know of these things, you got to bring it out, man. You got to get the names, the facts, and the numbers, the dates, and bring this information out to confound this devil that's running off at the mouth up there.
Yeah,
you know?
because if you don't, then that's on you.
It falls on you.
You know that you hiding basically you hiding things. You're being like a wicked servant.
Right.
That's
winking at the man's. You winking at the man's wickedness.
That's right. Like the scriptures say, be not ashamed to inform the unwise.
That's right.
You know, that's in the Apocrypha. It tell you to be not ashamed. So, in other words, if you know that, and that's what the whole problem is that y'all got with us. But fuck y'all, to those who it may pertain to. All right, but the brothers that's out there that's sincere, the right, especially the brothers that's in the GMS camps, and you got other men out there that's not even in GMS camps. They know that what we saying is true and sincere.
That's right.
All right, and they know that we're doing the right thing. But if you got information, I mean, if you got information on us, you're trying to sit there and
they don't have. Right? They have rumors about.
They got rumors and bullshit.
They bringing it out, trying to make it seem like factual.
Yeah.
You know, but if you brothers out there that know of this situation, you know what's going on. You know that this guy is being a hypocrite. He's trying to blame us for doing certain things that he does himself. You got to bring that information out, man.
That's right.
You got to stop holding back, man.
Hey, the Lord,
stop being scared, man.
The Most High got on, when you read about the talents. Remember the servant that had the talent and hid the talent in a napkin?
That's right. That's right.
The Most High gave him one talent, which wasn't that big of a portion of the knowledge.
But he hid it. So
if you guys got information, you're likened to the servant that hid his talent.
And it's not about slandering. It's about truth.
Truth, yeah.
You know, when you bring out information, it's not about a slander. It's about telling the truth. Because this guy is trying to slander us, bringing out this bullshit against us, which he doesn't have anything against us. You know, if he did, he would bring forth the facts.
Well, that's why he's reaching. He ain't he just on the same bullshit.
You brothers out there actually have proof that this guy went off and certain things that he did. You got to bring it out, man. Stop holding back. Bring it out. Put that nigga on blast, man.
That's
right, brother.
Okay.
Go to Deuteronomy, 21st chapter.
Right.
And 10th verse to the 14th verse. We still reading the law. Was not Ezra reading in the book of the law a fourth part of the day? So let's find out some more law that they were reading.
Deuteronomy chapter 21 verse 10. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy power have delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
Right, in other words, to be your woman. Go ahead.
Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head, and pare her nails. And she shall put on the raiment of her captivity, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
In other words, you could go into the woman and pop her and have sex with her.
Right, and you ain't got to sit there and you can grab her up.
That's it.
Okay?
Manhandle her.
Yeah.
Like a lot of you faggots, you don't like the man. You like women to manhandle you. You know, a woman likes when you grab her up and and rough her up.
It's a goddamn shame. I never, 2012, the Most High about to destroy America. You got niggas talking about you can't be forcing no women. You can't. You fucking clown. I mean, Eddie Murphy, the biggest, one of the biggest
on the planet,
faggots out there. He even broke that shit down, man. Yep. All right, women don't want you to fucking sit up there and talk smooth talk to them.
Right.
You know, they want you
to put it on.
Be rough, man. And women will talk about you if you ain't if you a faggot or if you rough like that. If you ain't rough.
That's right.
You know? But you got these guys out there that was never in Israel, man. We always knew, we always had that manly spirit, man. See what it is, you guys are conformists too, on top of being faggots, man. You guys are conforming to this bullshit, this Queen of Heaven bullshit.
Yeah, that's that spirit that's going out there. To elevate the woman, you know, to somewhere where she ain't supposed to be elevated.
Ain't no scripture saying thou should not handle a woman rough. There's no scripture that says that. The scriptures say that I not. All right, going back to the Hebrew, which is to humble.
That's right.
Or to take by force.
Forceful. Now, when you go to the book, the actual book form, it's the word humble, take by force is there. Ravish. The word ravish means to rape. It's in there. Jackass.
Don't mean to trick or
right.
Or the other dumb shit.
Yeah, read on. Yeah, entice her. You fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's some faggot shit, man.
You got to be the biggest joke on YouTube, and I'm talking about General Gehenna, and you got to be the wickedest Israelite out there, man.
Yeah, yeah. You know what you're doing is wicked, man. Even if y'all watch the video, one video I seen, he had the guy sit there and read the scripture about a damsel being betrothed to somebody, and another man in Deuteronomy 22nd chapter. And another man lay hold on and take her by force. Says, see, and the man should be put to death. See, should be put to death because he took her by force. No, you fucking asshole. She was betrothed to another man. So that was an adultery. She belonged to someone else.
Right.
That's why he was.
That's why he was
to be put to death.
Not because he forced her. He forced her, and the reason why he was put to death was because she belonged to another man.
That's
so he
right.
committed adultery.
But now, you other assholes out there, you'll see them do this shit, but you won't say nothing, man.
Right.
That's why, you know what, all you silent so-called Israelites, man,
timid Israelites,
man, the hell with you, man. The most Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not dealing with you, man, because you're ashamed, man.
That's right.
All right, you ain't got no fucking balls, man.
Yeah.
All right,
right.
But yet most of y'all sit there and talk shit.
You'll talk shit about us.
About us because you might have 20 or 30 different Israelite groups coming at us, so you'll jump on the bandwagon and try to go with the majority.
When the scriptures say not to follow a multitude to do evil.
Do evil, that's right. Straight up. All right? Now verse 14. Verse 14. It says, and it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will, but thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her.
Because you took it. Because you took it, all right?
How do you humble a woman?
You put it on her.
You gotta put it on her.
But it's gotta be rough, man. You can't just, okay, darling,
with some roses. And,
yeah, man. You gotta put it on these women, man. That's why women come back to a man. You got men out there that's assholes to these women, and they always go back to that man. Why? Because he's an asshole.
Hey, brother, we hear that all the time, man.
That's right.
All right, because unlike contrary to popular belief, we all got women, man. We done dealt with women.
Yeah.
All right, we don't.
First of all, motherfucker, we have women.
Yeah.
Some brothers have plenty of women.
Plenty of women. And if you was the so-called interview him or whatever, they'll tell you all the same thing. Yeah, he's an asshole, but I love him.
That's right.
That's what they say, man. Yep. They can't get enough of us, man. Hell, even the women that watch our videos, even as we making the videos.
No, you know what? We brothers made a point. Look, you niggas out there that talk shit about us, and those women that you got off of YouTube, they used to follow us first. Beginning with Elder Tahar, Elder Gabar, Elder Rakal down. They used to follow us.
Yep.
You got those women because we were out there putting out those videos. You niggas wasn't putting out no videos. Them women are groupies. They were all on GMS's jock at one time. But our thing is teaching the word.
Right, we wasn't trying to scoop up no honeys,
man. So since we wasn't paying them no attention, because we was focused on teaching the word of the Lord, you niggas got them now, because they follow anything.
Under the guise of Israelites, you pretended to be Israelites. You pretended to be men of the Most High.
That's right.
And you know what? The hell with them, because you know what? They gonna leave your ass too. Okay.
Right. Well, when the time comes, you're gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
So where that women gonna go when niggas are put to death? They're gonna run to the power. That's what the scriptures say. The day of that power, that people shall be willing. Now, that wasn't on Deuteronomy.
Okay.
But I just want to make a couple of points And we got to close it up. You know, this lesson went a little longer than we expected, but it was needed. It had to be done. Now, Abraham had Keturah, which was a concubine. He had children by that concubine. Did he put those children away? No.
Right.
He had Hagar. Did he put Hagar away? No, he did not put Hagar away. The reason why he sent Hagar away was because of Sarah. Because Hagar despised Sarah because she was able to get pregnant. And she despised Sarah and looked down on Sarah. That's why Sarah told her to leave. And because of the fact that Ishmael was not going to be heir with Isaac, because the Lord had it to be closed at that time. You know, you had Abraham, you had Isaac, and you had Jacob. And then from Jacob, any man that came out of Jacob's line, or any child that came, or seed that came out of Jacob's line, they were going to receive the promises, because that's where the promise ended.
Yep.
All right. You had Jacob. Jacob had Bilhah and he had Zilpah.
Yep.
Right. 2 concubines, and he had some of the 12 tribes of Israel with them. Did he put them away and say, no, you're a heathen, your mothers are heathens, so you can't be a part of this thing?
Right, you're mingled seed,
your mamzer, which is bullshit, because that scripture mamzer does not, or the word mamzer does not appear in anywhere in the book of Nehemiah or Ezra.
Right.
Where this whole situation was going down. Now, and then Rachel and Leah, they weren't Israelites either. They were women of other nations also. He didn't put away the 12 tribes. According to you guys' reasonings.
Moses.
When you have Moses, which married an Ethiopian woman, her name was Zipporah, and he had two sons with her.
Yep.
He didn't put them away. They were still Levites, Israelites. Then you had Joseph, who had 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, or Manasseh and Ephraim, by an Egyptian woman named Asenath, I believe her name was. Did he put them away? No. Matter of fact, Jacob came to him and said, look, Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh are mine, as Simeon and Levi are mine. Any other seed issue that you have with your body, then those children shall be yours, but they shall be called after the name of Ephraim and Manasseh. So why didn't Jacob say, well, you know what, Joseph, you went off.
Yeah.
I love you. You're the son of Rachel. You know, my dear. You know, because Jacob loved Rachel more than he loved any other woman. You know, I know you're the son of Rachel, my dear, but you know what? You went off and you slept with this Egyptian woman you had sons by her. I'm sorry to tell you, you got to put them sons away. You know, and separate them from the company of Israel. No. He said that Ephraim and Manasseh are mine, as Levi and Simeon are mine.
That's right.
Then you had Boaz, which Boaz was a great-grandfather of King David.
Yep.
His wife's name was Ruth, out of that line. All right, and you brothers can read all these scriptures about these great men that had women of other nations. And King David had plenty of concubines.
That was, and King David was what? The Lord's anointed.
That's it.
But wait a minute, he had that mingled seed in him.
A man after the Most High's heart.
Man.
Because it's no such thing as a half-breed or a mingled seed.
That's right.
You are what your father is. Your lineage goes back to your father. These same clowns will have you believe that O.J. Simpson's children, which look like white children, are not Israelites.
And you know what, man? And to a lot of you other Israelite groups out there that's watching this stuff, and you're not speaking up on it or whatever, the Most High is going to deal with you, man.
That's right.
All right? Because you know that that's wickedness, man. That's folly, man.
That's right.
For a nigga to sit up there and start teaching a mixed breed doctrine, and you guys have no problem, you know? The Most High gonna deal with a lot of you other guys out there, because you all sitting back. This ain't about sitting back, man. When the Lord was here, when Yahweh Shai was here, what he did, he was upbraiding the cities, he was upbraiding the Pharisees, the Sadducees.
Right.
He wasn't going out there trying to be friendly with everybody, man.
He wasn't liked very much.
He wasn't liked. Okay, Yahweh Shai was a so-called troublemaker, man.
That's right.
In today's term,
and he was calling names.
He was calling names
and bringing forth actions that these wicked actions that these other guys were doing.
That's right. He was starting trouble.
That's right.
Yahweh Shai was a troublemaker, man. But in righteousness, man.
That's right. For
the sake of the elect. So we do these things and we make, like the brother said at the beginning of the video, we're doing this for the elect.
That's right.
Because you're going to have them same old, even though we went to the scriptures, we broke it down.
Yep.
All right? You're going to still have them same old niggas still say the same thing. You got some niggas, you can hear this, you got to have
They're just sealed.
They're just sealed, man.
They're sealed.
You can't tell them the color blue is blue.
Right.
They're going to, I think it's green,
black, green
or black.
Yep.
You can't tell them that because why? Like the brother said, they're sealed, and the Lord said in Isaiah, He poured a spirit of deep sleep upon these niggas. Ooh. Like General Kahana, basically when y'all make videos, you can put snoring sounds on there because that nigga is in a deep sleep.
He's trying to put you back to sleep.
And he's trying to put you back to sleep.
Now, we're going to end this lesson with 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, the 3rd and the 4th verse. You know, because our job is not to give a damn what these other Israelite groups out there and these women, you know, they disrespect women, they're this, they're that, they're trouble. Well, we don't give a damn about that.
Right.
Our job is to find out whatever is being taught wrong according to the gospel, according to the doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and go out there like juggernauts, like sentinels, and crush that garbage. Mm-hmm. And bring out the scriptures and show you the right way. Those of you that are to get it, you're going to get it. Those of you that are not going to get it, you're not going to get it. Yahweh Shai said, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Yep. He said that because the majority of the people back then, of Israelites back then, wasn't listening to him and hearing him. He wasn't concerned with them. He was only concerned with the elect. But go ahead, brother. We're going to read this and we're going to finish it off here. Go ahead, brother.
2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. It says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
That's why a lot of you niggas out there are lucky that we're not carnal men. Because we could get carnal if we had to, but that's not about that.
Right, that'll make us enemies with the Most High.
Exactly, because we don't want to become enemies with the Most High. That's why we stay spiritual to the best of our ability. But just because we stay spiritual doesn't mean that gives you leeway to cross that line, if you know what I mean.
But they know better. They know better.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Right, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Go ahead.
But mighty.
But mighty, which is what? The scriptures. Go ahead.
Through the Most High.
Through the Most High, not of ourselves. Go ahead.
To the pulling down of strongholds.
To the pulling down of strongholds. So what would that be? What would you be considered by pulling down a stronghold? You would be considered a troublemaker.
That's right.
You would be considered a person that is not liked by very many because you're coming against something that has been established and ripping it down from the foundation according to the scriptures. Go ahead, brother.
It says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High.
Right, so anything that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we're going to tear it down through the scriptures. You know? And if you don't like it, that's too bad.
Yeah.
And those of you brothers out there that's hearing this word and that it resonates with you and you understand it, keep fighting, keep pushing, keep trudging, keep moving forward. You know? Don't stop. Keep abounding in this truth. Keep pushing the word. Keep making videos. Keep bringing out information. Keep bringing out current events, and keep pushing that word till Yahweh Shai comes back. And when Yahweh Shai comes back, you better believe you're going to get a reward, brothers. We're going to get a reward because Paul even said that he's confident that he has a crown laid up for him. Right? So we're fighting in this thing to get out of here. We don't know we're part of the elect, but you damn right we're going to fight tooth and nail to get out of here. And anybody that brings any bullshit, we're going to smash it down with the scriptures through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
That's right.
So the name of this lesson is Mingle Seeds, ? No such thing. There is no such thing as a mingle seed. There is no such thing as a half-breed.
That's right.
These asses are doing that because they're playing on the emotion of the people out there. You know, and the simplicity that's in them. That's why the scriptures say that the simple believe in every word. All right. So with that, we're going to close this out. We're going to say shalom to the elect.
To the elect.
All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to our elders and honors to you brothers out there that's teaching His word in sincerity and truth. And keep on fighting, man.
That's right.
Shalom.
Shalom.